Hey guys, so long time no see. I hope you can hear me. I wanted to get a chance to tell you guys some things because some really exciting stuff has happened. The last time I communicated with Diane, she noticed that I was excited about stuff. So she said, I like it when you get excited about things. So I am excited. I'm even more excited now. So although it's worn off, I wanted to tell y'all earlier, I actually had a moment where I could pull myself into a meeting room and I started to record something really quick and put the laptop down, came in here, and I thought later on I'll try to upload that. And then I noticed there was no sound. So the microphone was off the entire time. So I'll have to do this now. So here's what I'm so excited to tell you about. First of all, everything finally got accepted, and that was super important because I had to travel for depositions, and the week that I did that is when I uploaded everything, so it was early or on time, a little early. And then there are filing problems sometimes, when you're trying to file things, there'll be something that's not quite right or that they want to know or whatever. And I've never filed an appeal like this. So what it turns out that with the appeal court, you have to do several different things. One is you have to attach the old judgment to, you don't just file the notice of appeal and the appeal form by itself. So the clerk wrote to me and was very cordial about it, gave me time to do it. But then another clerk wrote and said that you also need a letter of explanation and a caption page and stuff like that. So finally got all of that put together as a PDF and filed. And then I had to do the same thing with the motion to redact my information to keep me safe. I showed the clerk some of the threats to make it clear, just to let them know, and they can't do anything just based on me showing them that. It has to all be buttoned up. Like back in March of 2025, I had to, file a brief about it and come up with case law to prove up that I have a right to be safe because it's not normal to seal records in civil court. So they granted it March of 2025. I found that, and and they don't even make it easy to upload from Santa Clara Civil. I had to figure out how to pull it up and do that. So anyway, I got all that done, and I just saw that was accepted today. That was one of the things in the video. So that was great. And then to add greatness on top of that, I've talked to a couple different people about Amber Davies because I was thinking about doing activism related to, so you guys know about, maybe most of you know about, I know some of you do because you've written to me, Meta losing that lawsuit about children online and they're not being protected, the algorithm being used to promote harm. And that's so much smaller a thing, even though it's a thing, than this very direct, specific harm to children. So if they're losing there, how could they not lose here, right? And that's one of the reasons I've been able to keep this case alive so long. And with the breach aspect and the retaliatory behavior towards content exposing crime, that adds to standing. So we're appealing all the reversible error here. And what's going on now in the courts is super important. So we have the ECHO Act trying to get through, but we also have 2 periods of time where Congress are talking about different issues, and one issue they're on right now is online harm of kids or people in general. And they're about to have that June 23rd. I was waiting to see when. I knew it would be summertime, and then I kind of knew it might be June. If you get a backing from a group, you can speak at these things, but that takes some time. But I might actually have time to do that. We'll see how it goes. If not, I might be able to do that in the fall. But there's something I definitely am going to be able to do. So let me let you know how that goes. I was already excited about that. So I now know how to go about getting my written testimony into the record for the judicial hearing coming up on the 23rd. And guess who's going to be at that hearing? It's going to be YouTube and Google. It's going to be Meta, Snap, and other companies like that talking about how they protect children online. So we can counter that with some facts about what they're doing to very specifically push against protecting specific children who they've seen the news articles about the fire directed at the baby boy twice. They know that the guy on their platform is the wanted fugitive wanted for doing that crime, and that the female wanted fugitive wanted for her role in those crimes is also a wanted fugitive. They make money off them. They know about them. They've seen them commit crime on the platform, which they lied about and said all the crime was committed off. Nope, the child doxing and the redirecting to revenge porn and threats of bodily harm and et cetera, have happened on the platform. And the promotion of child sex abuse material, which all those pierce Section 230. Section 230 has been pierced to the point where it's profusely bleeding. So we'll prove all that up, and it'll be an interesting counter to their arguments. Staffers will read it. people will have an opportunity to read it. It will be in the record forever, and then it can be pointed to after that fact. So Amber Davies, who I was going to reach out to, because like I said, if you get backing from a group and they already were receptive to me, she gave all of my stuff to Justice Defense Fund to possibly give me an amicus brief way back there. So she reached out to me actually before I even reached out to her, which was very odd, because I've been thinking about it. And it was in my spam for like 9 days. And then I saw that email and I reached out to her as soon as I saw it and said, wow, I'm just seeing this. And then I let her know that we know more now than we did then. And there's some stuff going on, and I definitely would like, and there's even threats that I saw that I hadn't seen before. So yes, I would like to have a meeting. And so she reached out last night, but I saw it this morning and I responded. So we're meeting next week. So I don't know if that will pan out to where I could have their backing to speak at that hearing. I don't know if that would be the case, but whatever kind of help I can get and whatever kind of, along the way help would be wonderful. And that's exactly the entity I want it from. So that's great and it's exciting. And either way, we're getting this into the written record. That means there's going to be, with our lawmakers who are looking at these very issues, what YouTube and Google have really been doing, spending their money doing, toward whom they'll know about Diane's story. And they'll know about me trying to do something about it and what they thought they could treat me like. They have complete disregard for my well-being. So that means they don't really want anybody to see something and say something, even if we're talking about children. So, and this isn't one of those situations, by the way, that's what the reversible error is all about. This isn't I saw content and I didn't like it and I want you to take it down. This is a direct piercing of Section 230 crime against children. Very directly stated. We're not, pontificating on whether or not he believes in abusing children. He told us he is. And he's advocated for it for years, and he's wanted for crimes against a child. And they have him on an app, directly talking about the crimes with the criminals who were caught in the commission of the crime. And he even himself stupidly talked to PCC about being a wanted criminal. So he knows he's wanted. He proved that, and Belle proved she knows she's wanted. And as soon as I made a video stating that, she took that video down. I'm the content creator that has made them take their content down. They were really brazen before all of this got into the courts. They want to tell you that law doesn't matter. Well, obviously it does to them. So that's what we're going to be working on. And once again, I've had a lot of people send me amazing things. If there's anything that you have that you want to send or show me or that you're working on, my email is still in my description. I'll make more content about this as I do it. So, expect things to come. I just wanted to make sure that I got a chance, since there are updates, to actually take the time to say something to you guys. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on about my channel. There was a time when it made sense to push back against them with anything we had, like humor, like, pointing out things in a very caustic way, because you got to realize when Diane first came back, they were trying to intimidate her viciously off of this platform. And had she not had some smart and brave people backing her up, I think they would have done it potentially. But, she didn't back down. But it's very hard to deal with a torrent of abuse like that without some help. And they didn't expect her to have the kind of help that she had, with thoughtful people who were intelligent, who really knew exactly what they were doing. And she did have that help. And now she's strong, and we've made those points. So they're still coming at us with the trolling and all of that kind of stuff. But at this point, it's a moot point. And now that we have gotten it out of just this niche space into things like Crime's Anatomy, the first when Cloak and the Dagger got that accomplished, that got a new audience on it. When Turkey Tom even did the documentary that he did, even though it was kind of outdated a little bit, he still got a lot of information out there, and it made people that saw it, which was a large number of people because he has a big audience, they went and did a deep dive and got the lowdown. And then aside from that, you have Rotten Mango, which is over 2 million now, like 2.5 million. That's why Goat Boy put out a counter video to parodize it, so that when you use those search terms, you'll run into that instead of the actual documentary. But the actual documentary is still much bigger, and people will see that for what it is. But nonetheless, 2.6 million, and my petition has thousands and thousands of views, and now over 2,000 signatures from Google shareholders, from people even willing to make videos, from people who put money into that petition. That doesn't go to me. That goes to change.org. I didn't even solicit for that. Change.org does. So apparently there were people that cared enough about this to put money into it to try to promote that petition, which I do appreciate. And I want to do something with that petition as well related to shareholders, because these are the things that are going to get this going somewhere. Whether or not we win in the courts against the social media company to deplatform and turn them in, which would be an avenue for finding them, that's important. That's important with regard not even just to these particular victims, but to law in general. But aside from that, the more of this that goes on, the right eyes will get on it. You keep pushing at a door, it opens, and you give up, it doesn't. You're going to stay where you are. So we will get somewhere. It's not unlike, I feel the same way about myself in a way, but in a totally different way, as you saw Gatis in that video about 7 years no work, where he's living off of a net, basically. He said he's been very lucky in his life, and he's very smug and smirky. What he's really talking about there is the kind of lucky, like he's been able to commit crimes and get away with them, and he has. And instead of doing with that what he should have done, which is feel very lucky and maybe try to now, do something. You've been lucky you haven't gotten in the kind of trouble you could have. Now let's turn this around. Let's take our good fortune and do something with it. Kind of like that video I made a long time ago about Ben Carson, how he stabbed his roommate in college and it hit the belt buckle instead of killing the guy. And that was his wake up moment where he realized that could have ruined my entire life. I need to stop and do something else with myself. For whatever reason, Lagzdins doesn't have the ability to do that. And also what we're doing isn't about punishing and torturing and hurting people. That's what he's about. This is about safety. So, we have a right in the public to be safe. Those of us who have seen and said something, those children have a right to be safe. That's why we have laws protecting individuals. That's why on my personal channel, I'm personhood over dogma. I believe individuals over any type of dogma always. Whatever's good for the collective is good for the individual as well. And we protect individuals from the group. If the group is bad, just like the child from the parent, if the parent happens to be bad, everybody deserves individual rights. And that little boy has a right to live, and so does his mother. So that's what this is about. And on a larger scale, law like this will be about that forever. Companies operate like Gatis, meaning they don't care about individuals and they don't care about the collective public. They don't care about anything but what's good for them. They operate in a very vampiric way, and that's they're only interested in accountability being bad for the company. So, we have to get around that legally, and we can, and we will. The ECHO Act will be the other thing that, as we try to push that through, and there are groups like the JDF that will want to do that, and that will help here a lot as well. So I hope some of you, and I have a very thoughtful audience, and I don't care about having a large audience. It would be great if it got larger, but this size audience is fine, even smaller if it happens to be the people that are thoughtful, can follow what I'm doing, that want to follow what I'm doing, that want to do things on their own, that care about the right things for the right reasons. That's what I want around me. So I'm grateful for you. I wanted to provide you with that update, and I will be making more content soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.